so much light. Daylight. All the time. And on sunny days, you almost felt like you were sitting outside, it was that bright.
And that surprised you, Grace?
It was a factory. I thought it would be dark and dirty.
Then why go to work there?
I was 15. It was time to pay my own way.
Pay your own way? What about school?
Oh, I didn't miss it so much. The girls were all so nice, and the work wasn't hard. It wasn't like factory work, really. It was more like art painting those guys. We were artists.
I'm not really the one who should be talking. Juan Shishaki, he's who you should talk to.
Now, Arthur, you know he won't talk to us.
It was his process.
Tell me about that process, Arthur. You used the powder?
He used a powder. The girls mixed it with adhesive to make the paint. In that business, with the brushes, I didn't invent that. They were doing that when I started.
But you knew about it.
We all knew about it. Just didn't realize what it meant.
Today. Is that bad? Not for us. She's going to be in this room all day, by herself, in the dark, checking dials.
Poor thing.
Poor thing.
So we're going to give her a little surprise.
Boom! Like the Cheshire Cat. Won't that make her mad? Let her get mad.
That's half the fun.
I don't want to make her mad.
Grace, do you have to be that way about everything?
Well, what way? Your cheek, Grace.
Put some on your cheek. Ain't like Amalia don't deserve it. She paints more dials than any girl on the floor and cannot be bothered to talk to no one either. You say Amalia, what's new? She just looks at you funny.
I don't think she can speak much English.
It wouldn't kill her to smile, would it? She's coming. Get the light.
Oops. Mrs. McNeil, paint your faces. Have you gone your minds?
It was just a joke.
Just a joke? A joke like that can lose her about her job.
No, Miss McNeil. I'm sure that's not necessary.
I don't tolerate your foolishness, Doctor.
Job. Very good. Foolishness? We don't want, do we? Mr. Reader, this is the inspection room. All the dials from here is activated. And here are some of the girls which is on the floor keep working. Girls, this is Mr. Reader, my new vice president and your new plant manager.
And I was just telling Mr. Reader what a fine bunch of girls we have here. He must think now I'm halfway in my mind.
Mr. Reader, perhaps you have some words for the girls? Miss McNeil?
Well, girls, this paint you've been playing with, it's very expensive. You realize this? It takes several tons of ore to produce a single gram of radium. So that's a lot of work, hard work, for the men in our extraction plant. Well, they do this work gladly. You understand why? Why they work so hard? What we are all working for.
The war?
That's right, the war. The dials and paint save lives, girls. Our boys in the field depend on them to read them in the dark, no mistaking what they see. Otherwise, some of those boys won't be coming home. So, girls, if you play around, and you don't take work seriously, well, you're playing right in the hands of the Kaiser. And we don't want that, do we?
No, sir.
Let's leave the tomfoolery at home and get back to work.
Mr. Reader, I just wanted to say, I really am sorry. I won't do nothing like this ever again.
Well, dear, just try to keep this. If you do right by us, we'll do right by you.
May 17th, 1921. Nancy Jane Harlan, The New York Graphic. The New York Graphic's only girl reporter. Jackie Nunwood from the New York Ledger. New York's first source for news. Madame Marie Curie, eminent French scientist, embarked on what was a stop tour of the United States. First stop, New York City. First greeted by an enthusiastic crowd of well-wishers. The high priestess of science is headed for Washington to receive a gift of 1 gram of radium, valued at $100,000, purchased for her by members of the Marie Curie Radium Club, an association of 100,000 American women who each gave $1 to support humanitarian research with radium.
Reese, over here. Irene, look, I got my certificate. Member, Marie Curie Radium Club.
You gave $1?
It's all for science.
Science? What about my room and board?
Oh, look, there she is!
Welcome all, welcome all. I must ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, please limit your questions. Madame Curie is about to embark on an exhaustive tour of the country, and she is under strict doctor's orders to rest. Although, in the typical fashion of a scientist who can think only of her research, her life's work, she has refused to rest.
Madame Curie, what will you do with the radium?
Ja, Spasibo, tak Shocking.
What will you do with the radium?
I will continue my experiments to find better methods for the treatment of the cancer.
Is radium a cure for all cancer?
Cure for the cancer? Yes, cure for the cancer. That is so. It has already cured all kinds of the cancer.
But some doctors dispute that.
Since they do not understand the method, there is no question. Radium will cure the cancer.
Madame Curie! How have you managed to devote yourself both to your kids and science?
It has not been easy. But my daughter showed my gratitude to the American woman for their interest in science and my work. I am most grateful.
Madame Curie!
Madame Curie, more questions. Madame Curie is on a tight schedule. Mr. Andrew Carnegie has sent a car and will escort Dr. Curie personally, as will I, to Washington, where President Harding will present the gift of 1 gram of radium.
You hear that, Charlie? Now that is a marketing opportunity. We'll send her one of our customers' watches, courtesy the United States Radium Corporation. We need to send out a press release. Radium isn't just for scientists to study. The average American can share its glory every night through luminous watches, luminous clocks. Anyone considers these just novelties. Consider all the advancements made in the past 50 years: the electric light, the telegraph, the telephone, the automobile. All inventions once dismissed as novelties, as toys.
No essentials to modern life. Got it. Now we sell some watches.
Watches. Absolutely. But that's not where the market is now, Charlie. You heard the lady. It's the medical market. And Standard Chemical owns it. Only because Vaughn's shocked you last time. If we wanted, we'd have half the business. Just a matter of position.
Well, Standard Chemical publishes its own article. Sends it out to 12,000 doctors monthly. We could do something similar.
Something scholarly that the doctors would respect.
A bibliography listing every article ever published on radium.
But with capture reports to save the doctors time, they get their information, find the facts,
And have us to thank for it.
We'll send it to every doctor in the United States Radium Society.
Every doctor in the American Medical Association.
That's the spirit, Charlie. Advertising, that's the way of the future. It's not just the product, it's the way you go.
You should have seen it, Grace. The church was filled with flowers, lilies and carnations and orchids. You know how Amalia loved orchids.
They weren't orchids.
They were orchids, Irene.
Irises.
Orchids. I know an orchid when I see one. Oh, and that smell, Grace, that smell. What was it? It was like flowers? No, it was like heaven. I was going to say it was like heaven.
Like heaven? Catherine, it was just a funeral. You make it out like it was some Valentino picture.
It wasn't just a funeral. It was Amalia's. And it was beautiful. The church was like the botanical gardens. Even the company sent a big spray of flowers too. Carnations.
Mums.
Yellow carnations.
Those were mums.
Well, it sounds like a nice service anyhow.
Girls, the bus is already gone. Now then, I received new instructions this day. We're going back to the old way of pointing the brushes. We was losing too much paint and cloth.
But
Yes, Grace? Something you wish to say?
Dr. Von Sashaki told me not to do that. He said it's unsanitary.
Unsanitary? Well, I hardly believe you say such a thing. We've done this as long as I've been here. You must have misunderstood him.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not getting new brushes until you're done with the old ones. They got me so bad you can't get them to a point no more.
You can't make quota like that.
Well, you'll do your best then, since I have my instructions.
I need a new brush.
It's not for us to be asking the questions, is it? It's for us to do the work.
I have my instructions, girls. I have my instructions. Here's an instruction for you, McNeil. Let some of the starch out of your corset.
Was she at the service?
McNeil, are you kidding? You think she'd cross the street for her own mother?
Most everybody else was, though. She was about the only girl from the floor who wasn't there. I wanted to come, but Ma was working and I'd watch the little ones. You could have brought them, all 7. If I were you, I'd have tried to get there.
Catherine, just lay off. Grace feels bad as it is.
Were many of the fellas there? Oh yeah, lots of fellas. Mr. Roth from the front office, Dr. Von Sashaki was there, and Mr. Reader. And he left early. So, he was there all the same. Oh, Grace, you know that fellow from Crystallizing? The one with the red hair? You know who I'm talking about? Oh, the tall fellow with the freckles. Yes, the one that snaps his fingers all the time. George!
Jerry.
I think it is George.
Jerry. It's Jerry Malone. He's the one who's always talking to Molly in the day room.
That's right. Oh, and Grace, when the mass is over, he goes over to the coffin and he goes like this. He goes, no, yes, really, really.
For pity's sake.
Well, he did. Nobody could believe it.
So what if he did?
So what? He was in love with her. That's so what? Don't you think so, Grace? Well, I guess if he did that, he must have been. And can you imagine? Can you imagine? He loved her, and he never told her, never could bring himself to say, because she was so beautiful and he was so shy. And now it's too late. It's too late. Their love is forever thwarted. He didn't tell her, and he'll never get the chance to, ever again. Poor Amalia. Poor Amalia. Poor kid. Her family took it awful bad too, Grace. Opina, Kita, everybody. Every one of them crying. Even her father crying so hard. I've never seen a man cry before, not like that. Just bawling like a baby.
And you know why, too?
Because their daughter died.
What she died from.
Irene, don't go spreading stories.
It's not a story. Albina told us. There's no reason Grace shouldn't know.
Know what? Know what? Amalia? Ain't it awful? Albina said her father's fit to be tied too. 6 girls and ain't none of them going to the dance ever again.
All because Amalia upped and died from syphilis. I can't help it if that's what she died from.
You don't know that for sure. It's on the death certificate.
Anemia and complications from syphilis.
But Amalia was ever so nice.
Guess she got around more than we knew.
Maybe the doctor got it wrong. Maybe he made a mistake.
Come on.
He could have got it wrong. Doctors are wrong sometimes. That's true. Doctor was wrong about Aunt Ivy.
What's Mama got to do with it?
Irene, don't you remember? Up until the day she died, doctor said she was going to be just fine. Just take a cup of tea, get a good night's rest. 2 days later, he was taking her to the Rosedale Cemetery.
Girls, your attention, please. The gentlemen are here to make an announcement.
Thank you, Mrs. McNeil. Girls, we are here with a few rumors to rest.
And to explain some changes. Job?
Yes, as some of you girls may have heard by now, Dr. Von Sashaki is stepping down, and he'd like to take this opportunity
To make one goodbye. And Mr. Reader has kindly consented. Some of you girls have known since you were very little, coming here during the war, working so hard, day after day at the bench. 200, 300, some of you 500 dials a day. So excited to be part of a work here. When's this company I start? In my own kitchen, mixing up some paint. I knew I found something miraculous to make life better, easier. And now, what do I hear? More and more uses are zapped with the radium. More than I dreamed possible.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. And now, girls, as the doctor is a busy man, he must be on his way. So let us all wish him the best of luck in his new business ventures. Very good.
And let us conduct question to Mr. Reader also. To the plate, he steps as your new company president. Our congratulations to you.
Thank you.
When Mr. Reader came 4 years ago to us, I saw in him a young man of great enterprise.
Thank you.
And great ambition.
Yes, thank you.
Little did I guess the direction your ambition would take. But one of the things that makes this country great is the opportunity presented to a young man and his friends.
And so, girls.
And so, ladies, let us wish Mr. Reader the very best in the new direction he intends the company to take.
New direction?
With the slowdown in dialogue
Now, Doctor.
and business moving into the medical market, there's going to be lots of new changes.
What the doctor is referring to, some of our larger clusters are setting up their own dial paint studios.
Which means less work for our girls here.
In the short run, things may be slower. However, the Waterbury Clock Company in Connecticut will need help setting its new studio. We were going to make the announcement next week, but we'll make it now. Ms. McNeil?
Well, we'll be asking some new girls to go on up there.
The work will be supervisory in nature, which means more pay. You had some girls in mind?
Louise Collin was one, Sarah Duchess, Lee McCarthy, and Catherine Schwab. I have the entire list downstairs. I'll post it today.
Fine. Well, there you have it, girls. And as we're all on the clock, we'll leave you to your work.
Thank you, ladies. My best wishes to you.
That's back to work with you girls.
Are you gonna do it, Catherine? Are you gonna take that job? Would you go to Connecticut? Oh, I don't know. That's awful far from home. Tell me you would have a fit. Oh, come on, Grace. It would be fun. Wouldn't it, Irene? Irene, honey, are you all right?
Well, yeah, sure. Why wouldn't I be all right?
What? Your mouth is bleeding.
Lifted paint. Lifted paint. Lifted paint. Lifted paint. Lifted paint.
$35 a week, and she quits the place.
More to life than money.
That's what you say when you're young, Tom. But you and Grace get to be my age, with the house full of your kids underfoot, you'll thank God for his penny you put by.
You got money put by.
How much?
Enough to get married on.
It don't take much to get married on. Do you have enough to stay married on?
You let us get married, we'll find out.
You're still eating, Tommy?
It's good.
You're gonna get fat. Gotta keep up his strength. He works hard for his money.
Don't start, Mom.
I didn't say nothing. It's your father who hit the roof over it.
He didn't hit the roof.
You should have seen the man's face, Tom, when he found out Grace wasn't working no more. Most girls would their eye teeth for a job like that. Good money, easy work, nice looking fellas around the plant.
You didn't tell me about them, Grace.
Wasn't that many of them? Hardly seem worth a mention.
And she leaves it all behind, for reasons unknown. I'm tired of it up there, she says. Are you tired of the paycheck, I says. Who needs a paycheck, she says. I got me a boyfriend to take me out Saturdays.
She said that.
Oh, you know I didn't. And for your information, I got a job. I started the bank on Monday.
Oh yeah, the bank. And what's it pay?
Enough.
Enough. Always enough. You know what that means, Tom. It don't come close to what it pays up at the radium plant.
It's office work.
Office work. Well, I guess you'll be spending more money on clothes then.
Boy, she's really schemed at you.
I just don't see what difference it makes. So long as I'm working somewhere.
don't make no difference to me. I just thought you liked it up there.
Sure I did. I worked there 4 years.
So, I've been delivering mail almost 8 years. Plan on delivering mail another 20, 30 years. I'm lucky. Nothing like steady work and a good pension to help you sleep at night.
I don't have a pension, and I sleep just fine.
I bet you do. So why did you quit, Grace?
Lots of girls have quit. Work is slow. Besides, since Irene left, it's just not as much fun. And would you rather have a girlfriend who works at the bank?
Not as much as I'd like to have a wife who don't work anywhere.
Close your eyes. I got a surprise for you.
Yeah? Want me to pull the shades?
Not that kind of surprise. Close your eyes. Now look.
Wallpaper?
For the baby's room.
Baby's room? You won't kiss me and now you're talking about babies?
There's gonna be babies eventually, Tommy.
Well, sure, but Grace, you know, most girls, they get married before they even decorate the nursery.
Plan ahead for once. Pick one.
They're both the same.
No, they're not. This one has big flowers, and this one has little flowers. So pick one.
This is some kind of test.
No, it's just wallpaper.
It is some kind of test.
Pick one, Tommy.
That
Really?
one. The other one, then.
Which do you like, though?
They're both nice.
This one's pretty, don't you think?
That one, then.
But I want you to like it, too.
If you like it, I'll like it. Wallpaper is wallpaper.
No, it's not. You gotta pick something you can stay in the lookout for 20 years.
Same way you pick women.
Keep it up, smarty pants, and you won't ever get that kiss.
That one. That one, hands down.
I like it, too. A nice neutral yellow goes with either a boy or a girl. And until the baby comes, we can use them for other things.
Yeah? Like what?
Like a painting studio, maybe.
Painting studio, maybe? Didn't you get enough of painting at work?
Not the kind I wanted to do. Tommy, I used to paint watercolors at school. And ever since I went to work, I don't have no time. What with helping Mom and watching the kids, when we get married, I just want some time. Just a little time to myself. So I can paint watercolors. Or oils, maybe. Maybe portraits in oil. I could paint your picture if you'd like.
Why not? Paint a big picture of me and we'll hang it in the outhouse. All our friends will come around just to use the cans so they can look at it.
The way you talk sometimes.
Oh, Grace, you want to paint pictures? Paint pictures. I ain't gonna stop you.
You say that now, but once we're married, you'll change your tune.
Sure, I'll be whistling Dixie.
Wait till you come home some night. Some Christmas, maybe. When every customer in your routes had 3 times the mail. And maybe some dog took after you. And some old lady kept you waiting on her stoop, telling you all about her grandchildren. And you wouldn't have the heart to tell her you couldn't talk. I know you. So, you come home, all cranky and late besides, wanting your dinner. And there I am, with my easel set up in the kitchen, and a drop cloth on the floor, and paints all over the table. And your dinner, nowhere in sight. What would you say then?
There'd be a picture of me you're painting.
I know what you'd say. Where's my dinner? That's what you'd say. Where's my dinner?
Well, sure, but still admire the painting. Just want to look at it on a full stomach is all. So how'd I do? Pick the right wallpaper?
I don't know. Maybe I'll look at stripes.
Stripes, polka dots, I don't care. Let's just get married, Grace. You're plenty old enough. Just tell your mom we ain't wait no more. We'll just run off.
Tommy, we are not running off. We're gonna do it right. A nice church wedding with flowers and music and a week by the seashore. Just us. And when we come back, we'll get set up in our own place. It'll be worth the wait. You'll see.
Your mouth hurt you?
Yeah. The dentist wants to pull another tooth in the back.
Well, what's a tooth?
Hazel Kuzer, any connection to the others?
Only by virtue of appointment. So she's got a good lawyer. Knows how to write a good letter anyway. That lawyer.
And she no longer works here?
Left 6 months ago. This makes 4 now. 3. 4 if you count the magic girl. I wouldn't include her. She worked here. She also worked other places. And what she died from, you can't pick up here. At least I don't think you can.
That's not funny, Charlie. And besides, it's just idle talk.
In my opinion, there's usually something to idle talk when it comes to a girl like that.
From a large family, wasn't she?
Italians, the conditions they live in. 10, 12 people in a room. It's wonder they don't all die of one infection or another.
3 then. And how many dead?
Only Miss Madjo, but I have heard for people.
It's too late for them anyway. Statute of limitations is 2 years. Miss Kuzer is another story. She's in a position to make some trouble now.
And all the time I've worked here, no one has so much as slipped on the floor. Now this.
We're talking about 4 girls. Out of how many hundred that you've employed?
600, 700 over the years.
And some of them were sick when they got here. I mean, one girl you hired was a complete cripple. Couldn't even climb the stairs. Her father had to carry her up to the studio every morning.
It didn't make any difference to me how she got up the stairs. She was a fast worker and a very sweet little girl. She was poor in health. She needed the work.
Arthur, Charlie.
And not just for the money. To feel productive. To have a purpose. That's what work does, Charlie. It gives us a purpose. I don't see any reason to just stop hiring girls like that.
When they get sick and try to blame us for it, you might want to reconsider that policy.
We'll see what Drinker has to say.
Drinker?
Some professor at the Harvard School of Industrial Hygiene.
He chairs the department. He's agreed to take a look at our operations.
Don't you think we're jumping the gun a bit, hiring him?
We've had 6 girls quit this week. And Mrs. McNeil tells me there could be more.
Girls come and go all the time.
It's never been like this. These girls are terrified. We've got to do something to calm them.
Let a Drinker examine them. It sounds to me like a recipe for mass hysteria.
We'll tell them it's a routine physical. Edward?
Companies give physicals all the time.
Then Drinker will start next month.
In the meantime, recommend we make an offer to Miss Kuzer.
Settle?
There's no proof her problems are connected to us.
If she sues, you believe me, will not like the publicity it brings. And neither will your investors.
You think this will affect the stock offering?
Don't you?
Wonderful. We'll open at 30 and close at 10.
Or not open at all.
But if we give this girl something, that will keep it quiet?
It would be a condition of the study.
Maybe we better do it.
Suppose that lawyer has a racket going. He finds sick girls and convinces them to make a suit, and we reward him for his larceny.
Unless Miss Kuzer genuinely believes she got sick here.
Could be like Charlie said. She comes from a large immigrant family, not well educated, not a lot of resources.
A few $100s would make a big difference to a girl like that.
Certainly. Pay a few doctor's bills, buy some medicine. From the sound of the letter, girl doesn't have long to live anyway.
So, it'd be a gesture of decency then.
Exactly.
What do you think we should offer?
March 24th, 1924. Jackie Young here for the Newark Ledger. Nancy Jane Harlan for the Graphic, the New York Graphic's only girl reporter. Could radium water pose a cure for crippling arthritis? Scientific studies suggest a connection. Dateline, Orange, New Jersey. Radium water offers miracle cure for crippling arthritis. Some patients reported a significant abatement in their symptoms. Mrs. Jeremy Michaels of the Bronx tells how radium water transformed her life.
The pain got so bad I could hardly bend over.
This poor, brave woman cannot even bend down to kiss her little ones goodnight.
And I got 3 of them. Let me tell you, they are a handful.
Dr. Harrison Martland, Chief Medical Examiner for Essex County, commented on the study.
Preliminary, at best.
Your recommendations, Dr. Martland?
I advise further study. Further study.
Then Miss Michaels tried a Radithor.
They said it would cure my rheumatism, so I drank a bottle a day for a month. Wasn't cheap, but I was desperate. The test sample was questionably small. Well, first it felt like I'd been hit by a bolt of lightning. It was that powerful. Now I drink a bottle a week just to maintain my health. I hang laundry, and I scrub the kitchen floor the same way I always done.
Dr. William J. A. Bailey of Orange, inventor of Radithor, reports a strong demand for his product. Dr. William Bailey of Orange reports over 100,000 sales of Radithor worldwide.
Radioactivity is one of the most remarkable agents in medical science. I drink Radithor myself and I can vouch for its power.
A bottle a day?
At $1 a bottle?
Worth every penny!
Yes, indeed. I myself was the picture of lethargy before I discovered the amazing, vitalizing qualities of radium oil. Now look at me. I'm nearly 50 years old, but I have the energy of a man in his 30s.
Rather look like a man in his 30s.
Well, thanks.
A testament to the tonic's potency, or to the seller's creativity.
Right, Thor. It's perpetual sunshine.
And a perpetual money machine for its inventor.
Is there no end to what science can do?
Maybe we should have made an appointment. Don't need no appointment. It's a busy place, Catherine. If you don't have an appointment, maybe you should make one. Shouldn't need to make an appointment for this. I'm sorry, I didn't find anything under Schwab. No, it's under Rudolph. Rudolph? The girl I'm asking about, Irene Rudolph. Did she file the complaint? No, the dentist did. The dentist. Dr. Neff, Irene's dentist, he said that she might have bossy jaw and he was going to complain to the health department about it. When I had asked him, he said he hadn't heard nothing and it's been more than 6 months now.
Bossy jaw, you say?
Yes! Catherine, it could have been like your doctor said. A blood infection. Yeah, but what gave it to her? That's the thing. Where is it from?
From dirt. Skin infections from dirt.
From dirt. Her face puffed up like a pumpkin. Her jaw rotted so bad she couldn't eat nothing. You think you get something like that from a little dirt? You get it from phosphorus. They're telling everybody it's radium in the paint, but it's really phosphorus that makes it glow. Oh, honestly, Catherine, you can't really believe that. You saw her, Grace.
Catherine, if it was like you say, they'd have never let you work up there in the first place.
Sure, they'd shut the place down. Shut it down? Who? Who's gonna shut it down? I don't know. The county? Honestly, Grace, you are such a ninny.
Hey!
How are they gonna shut it down if they don't know about it? Ever think of that?
Come on!
It's all right, Tommy.
She got no business talking to you that way.
She's just upset.
Upset? She's going around the bend. She probably thinks they're dumping arsenic in the drinking water now. Next it'll be kidnapping babies and using them to stoke the furnace.
Go ahead and laugh. You won't laugh when it's so hard when it's you coming in here 6 months from now asking after Grace.
For crying out loud!
Catherine, it's just a toothache. Yeah? That's how it started out for Irene. Just a toothache. You wait, Grace, you wait. You'll wake up one morning, your gums hurting so bad you won't be able to open your mouth. So weak and sick you won't be able to stand up.
Stop
the pain
it,
so
Catherine.
bad you won't be able to sleep, and your face so swollen you won't be able to stand the sight of yourself.
Stop it! Grace is fine. Right, Gracie?
Irene Rudolph? That's it? She worked at the radium plant? Yes, ma'am. Nothing. What? The company is in full compliance with all health and regulations. They ordered an analysis. Say that. Miss, really? Who's Miss Young? That is the health officer. Miss, paint is harmless compounds, radium and zinc. As I was saying, there's no phosphorus anywhere in the paint. There's no phosphorus anywhere in the plant. Here. You see, Catherine? Miss Young for the plant herself. She found nothing amiss. I'm sorry.
Well, guess we can get some lunch then.
I'm gonna file another complaint.
They already did an investigation.
I want to file another complaint!
Oh, brother.
Catherine, these folks, they're awful busy. I want to file another complaint. I just don't see what good it's gonna do to make such a fuss this way. Grace, 3 surgeries, and they wanted to cut her again. She finally said no. She knew. What was left of her jaw had rotted so bad, the smell was terrible. And Grace, the worst part of it is, I couldn't look at her. Irene was so afraid of being alone, and I left her alone. When she died, it was the middle of the night, and no one was with her. Could we have another form? My friend would like to file another complaint. Another complaint? Is the girl still sick? No. She died. Wait right here.
Harriet! Harriet! Harriet? Harriet! Get down from that tree at once!
I'm waiting for Papa.
Fine. When he gets here, I'll send him up after you.
Look, there he is, Papa!
Harriet!
Harriet, fix yourself up.
Papa, I can see clear to the church.
Could you? Did you see your grandfather?
No, but I can see the schoolhouse.
You think this is funny?
She's enjoying herself.
Harriet!
I tell you what, she doesn't know who to shout to. She won't shout.
They can hear her all over the neighborhood.
Can they?
When she comes back, I want you to speak to her.
She's 9 years old, Diane.
I'm trying to raise a daughter, not a son.
Time is on your side. In another few years, she'll lose all interest in trees and develop a fascination with boys.
That's supposed to scare me?
And when that day comes, you'll be frantic because she no longer wants to climb trees.
What's this?
Something to give you vitality.
You think I need vitality?
That's what it says in the bottle.
Is it pure?
Where's the platter? Want to try?
If it will give me vitality, how could I refuse? Your father came by to see me today.
Another hard luck case. What was it this time?
4 children at home, all under the age of 6.
Let me guess. Wife in the hospital with cancer.
Yes.
And the husband's been laid off from, let's see, the brickyard.
Yes.
Through no fault of his own.
How did you know?
Dad was around to see me yesterday. I swear, it's never enough of him. Just have ordinary ambitions. You have to have a mission in life.
And you do.
No, I have a business plan.
You can't tell me that you wouldn't help this man if you could.
If I could, but I can't give him a job that doesn't exist.
What about Dan Lehman?
Dan?
Maybe he could use some help.
In the laboratory? Dan needs trained technicians, not a bricklayer. Why don't you send him to Miss Middleton? Don't you women have a social club for things like this?
You mean the Women's Club Civics Committee?
Right.
The club does take an interest in that sort of thing, but we aren't an employment service either, which is why I thought you could help them out.
Oh, you do love being married to the company president.
Has its advantages.
Ever think of trading it in?
Do you?
I got my shoes shined this morning. And while I watched the boy work, I thought, this is quite the enterprise. The work walks in, the work walks out. No inventory, no warehouse, no stock price, no health.
And you'll trade it all in for your own shoe shine stand.
Your head is that way.
You are one of those moods again. What is it this time? It can't be the market. It went up today.
Now we're moving the financial pages.
I have to entertain myself somehow. So what is it? You're being very strange.
Am I? I'm sorry.
You can tell me, you know.
Nothing to tell. Really, this is going to be our best year yet.
So it's the prospect of success that you find so disheartening.
I'll go get my check.
What for?
You're a bricklayer.
Artie. He needs a job, not a charity. It's like your father says, a working man needs to work.
It bears on his soul not to work. Well, it's a matter of the soul. That's different. All right, I'll have him talk to Dan.
Artie!
When I make no promises, Diane.
No promises.
To your help.
How long you had this drainage?
A week or 2. Heard something awful, Dr. Meth.
Anything else bothering you?
Back heard some too.
Back. You seen your regular doctor?
Yeah, he says it's nerves.
Nerves.
About my wedding and all.
This is no case of the nerves. I hope you told him that.
What do you think?
I think you better reschedule that operation.
Couldn't we put it off a little until after my wedding?
If you don't reschedule that surgery, you won't have a wedding.
What?
Miss Fryer, I want you to listen to me. Your jawbone's decaying. That's the black pus coming out of your bones. It's the It's the bone itself. It's what's coming out of your gums.
That's impossible.
To Mr. Arthur Radium, U.S. Radium Foundation. From Cecil Drinker, Harvard University. Enclosed is our report.
Finally.
We believe the trouble in your plant is due to the radium.
Radium?
It can't be as bad as all that.
This can't be.
Well, the operation could develop a septic condition, and that can prove fatal.
The blood changes in your employees can be explained on no other grounds.
Everything I've got, I've saved for my wedding.
Photographic films carried by employees show heavy volume,
I have a suggestion for you.
and we suspect high levels of gamma radiation.
Go to the company and explain your situation.
Go to the company?
We realize no proof can be offered at present.
So they see what kind of shape you're in.
This is impossible.
I don't see how they can refuse.
But in view of the material in the literature,
Charlie!
and the facts disclosed by our investigation,
You gotta feel obligated to help you out.
we recommend immediate and drastic remedial action.
If you want, I'll write to them for you. Just pay my bills directly. They'll work through me.
You really think they'd do that?
They got to. They got more obligation.
I guess so.
I'll do it right now. I'll need some paper.
It's a mistake. That's all. He's wrong. He has to be wrong. Charlie, he has to be wrong. He must have overlooked something. If we were suffering from a new ailment caused by radium, it should occur generally throughout the plant. But one would expect. There's several hundred milligrams in solution at all times in the big vats, several hundred in ore, several hundred in crystallized. The entire backyard is filled with tailings. Radium is present in good amounts all over the property. If it's the radium, then the incidence of illness should be highest in the lab. But no one there is sick. And that perhaps it's some combination of the radium and the sick bay, or something peculiar to our factory alone. Oh, bacteria perhaps in the brushes. It can't be the radium. There are several dozen application plants all throughout the country, and none of them reported anything like this. The Department of Labor will want to see that report. Yes, I'm aware. What are we going to do? This tears us to pieces. How do we answer them? They want to see the report? We send them this. One page. The most important page. Shrinker will never stand for. Shrinker works for us. This is a proprietary report. What we do with it is our business. It's the Department of Labor, Arthur. We just need a little time, Charlie, that's all. They could shut us down for this. Scientists, government men, they have no idea what it takes to run a business. Von Shishaki thought advertising was a dirty word. He laughed at the very idea of promotion. I can't tell you how many times I walked into his office and he turned a deaf ear to everything I told him. But we showed him. Charlie, we showed him. We are the world's largest single supplier of radium. The largest in the world. You know what it took for us to get here. Do you think I'm going to stand idly by and let them drag our good name through the mud? Trust me, Charlie.
Dr. Flynn, it was awful nice of you to come all this way.
Not at all, my dear, not at all.
I told the surgeon he was coming over, so he gave me the results of my blood work.
Excellent.
And so?
I must say, Miss Fryer, your blood looks better than mine.
It does?
Well, that's what happens to an old man who smokes. Now, tell me what else has been troubling you.
My feet and back, mostly. I've had to wear a brace for a while.
So I see. And this started before you left the company or after?
After I left. Dr. Neff says this all has to do with the radium plant. I know another girl from there who died from it. Irene Rudolph?
Oh, yes. Terrible thing, Vincent's angina.
What's that?
That's an ulcerated condition of the mouth, my dear.
From the radium?
Oh, no. It's a rare and unfortunate result of poor dental care. So let this be a lesson to you. Always brush your teeth.
There was something else about this in the paper. About other girls that got sick. One of them I worked with for a while. She's up at the hospital in New York. The doctors don't know what to do. They've never seen anything like it.
Miss Fryer,
Please tell me you don't pay any attention to those papers. Those stories are not scientific.
But
And reporters are not scientific. They do not follow scientific methods. They're right to sell, not to educate. The scientist is not concerned with what he sells, he is concerned with the truth. He undertakes years of painstaking study prior to an understanding of natural intricate processes that most people could never even presume to comprehend. You would do well to ignore the nonsense that is printed in the papers, because I can tell you now, radium has nothing to do with what's ailing me.
it doesn't?
Not in the least.
Then what is ailing me?
A poor guy, Miss Ryan. A poor guy.
But Dr. Neff said...
Dr. Neff is a dentist, not a physician. What you have is a vitamin deficiency and you must eat more fresh fruit.
Hard to do in the winter.
And raw meat as well. That will help the anemia. Raw calf liver particularly. Cook if you must, but eat it twice a week at a minimum. Oh, no. I'm a scientist, Miss Fryer, and I take a purely scientific interest in the situation. By allowing me to examine you, you're helping me to further advance my own studies. I thank you. Call me anytime.
Okay, Dr. Flynn. Thanks.
Pleasure to be of service.
Dr. Frederick Flynn, PhD, Physiology, Columbia University. PhD? That's not a real doctor.
My findings, Mr. Reader.
He's seen half a dozen girls who used to work at the plant. We're not here. He's working for the company.
An objective evaluation of trust.
The source of my funding has no bearing on my research.
And I let that girl examine me.
I never examined her per se. It was not a medical examination per se.
Nevertheless, you offer some useful advice. Isn't that right?
I did my best for her.
Every girl he sees, it's the same thing. Nothing wrong with you. Your blood is better than mine, he says.
And how are you doing in the rest of it?
The animal studies I conducted revealed no adverse effect from the radium. The problem, as you suspected, was one of personal hygiene only.
I can't believe somebody would do something like that. Straight out lie to me like that. Nothing surprises me. It's just like you said, Catherine. Those people will do anything. They'll say anything, except the right thing. Well, we're gonna make them. We're gonna make sure someone hears about this.
I'm particularly grateful, Dr. Flynn, but I'm particularly grateful to hear that the young lady who was in was doing so much better.
I didn't examine her, I merely consulted with her.
All the same, she's doing much better, isn't that so?
From what I can see, Mr. Reader, she appears to be on the road to recovery.
Excellent.
Here's my statement of fees and expenses.
Mr. Lee will draw you a check.
And so, I leave you now with this one thought, ladies and gentlemen. We do not have to accept injustice. We can use our powers as consumers to influence the practices of those who would wish to profit from our patronage. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wiley, and thanks to the New Jersey's Consumers League for another job well done. This concludes our program for this evening. I don't think we have time for questions, but I hope you can all join us next door for light refreshments.
Do you want anything?
My throat's a little dry.
Can I help you, miss?
I'm here to see Miss Wiley.
You're not a member of the Women's Club.
No, but...
Are you a guest of a member?
No, ma'am.
Then I'm sure Miss Wiley would be happy to see you during her regular business hours.
I'm not leaving here till I speak to Miss Wiley. It's all right, Miss Middleton. It's fine. You must be Miss Fryer. Yes, ma'am. Miss Young from the health department said I should see you. I know I should stop by your office, but I missed a lot of work lately, and I didn't want to miss no more. No need to apologize. I have been meaning to call upon you myself. Me and Catherine, we wrote to the company about our troubles, but we never heard nothing. So then we went to see a couple lawyers, only they all said that they can't do anything since it's been so long since we left the radium plant. Something about the law won't allow it? The statute of limitations. Right, and one lawyer, he said he tried to sue anyhow, only he wants $1,000 up front. I already spent everything I saved for my wedding on dentists and doctors and hospitals, and I still don't know what's wrong. Exactly. And Tom, that's my fella. He says he don't care. He says he wants to get married anyhow. But I can't help but wonder, what good would I do him? Miss Riley, if I could just get some compensation, then I could settle my debts, and maybe I wouldn't feel like I was saddling Tom with such a burden. I'm sorry to rattle on you about these sort of things. I'm just so tired of being pushed around. I don't blame you. Miss Young, she said the Consumers League has clout? I'd certainly like to think so.
we've certainly had our share of successes.
So, can you help us then?
Tell me, Miss Fryer, just how far are you willing to go with this?
Ma'am?
Suppose I do find a lawyer to take your case. Someone willing to take it on a contingency. You would not have to pay him unless you won. Would you be willing to sue?
I want my compensation.
Of course you do. Now suppose the company comes to you and says, here's some money for you, Miss Fryer. Only you were to tell no one what we have agreed to. You were to say nothing about how you got sick.
Keep it quiet, you mean?
Yes.
No, that just don't seem right.
It isn't right. But that's what they are going to do. They will try to buy your silence. Is it for sale, Miss Fryer?
No, ma'am. No, it's not.
Good.
So, can you help us then?
I think I can help you. If you are willing to take some chances.
Chances?
Miss Fryer, if you are willing to set aside your own need for just a moment, we can put a stop to that company. We can stop them dead in their tracks.
What would I have to do?
We would start by putting you on page 1.
Page 1? You want her to talk to a newspaper?
Not just one newspaper, many, many newspapers.
Is that really necessary? All we want is for Grace to get her compensation.
Tommy, let her finish.
I understand your concerns, but the company has already shown it is willing to go to extremes to protect itself. No, I'm afraid the only way we will get to them is to hit them where it matters most, their public image. When every newspaper in America tells your story, how you were sorely treated, how you suffered, how the company denied all responsibility. Believe me, Miss Fryer, when that happens, Arthur Reeder will come to the table with his hat in his hands.
All right, Miss Wiley.
I know it's all a little frightening.
Oh, no, it's okay. Right now I'm more angry than I am scared.
Good. You hang on to that anger, Miss Fryer. Only make sure no one else sees it.
Ma'am?
Public sympathy, Miss Fryer. That is our strongest weapon. And the public don't have much sympathy for an angry woman.
December 4th, 1927. Jackie Edward here for the Newark Ledger. Nancy Jane Harlan for the New York Graphic. On the strange case of the Radium Girls. Claim they were poisoned at the hands of their employer. And I've seen their day in court. $250,000? That's the price tag on their suffering.
$250,000? Ask me, it's all a sham.
What do you mean? Those girls are very sick.
Sick of working, sure.
Doctors say the Radium Girls only have a year to live. Only 1 year to live and 250 grand to spend. What would you do with that kind of money? What would you do to ease your last suffering days on Earth? What would you do with $250,000?
I'd buy awards on the Caribbean castles. I'd give it all to charity. Then I'd travel around the world, first class, with all of my friends.
I'd play the stock market. I'd buy my life a fur coat and diamond studs in New Hampshire.
I'd use it to pay my medical bills. And to pay off the second mortgage on our house. The one my father took out to pay for my last operation.
Pretty Grace Fryer sits at home, suffering bravely this entire ordeal, struggling valiantly to keep up her flagging spirits, all for the sake of her family and her friends.
It hurts to smile, but I try to smile. I know if I don't smile, I'll go crazy.
Tell us, Miss Fryer, how does it feel knowing you have so little time left?
I try not to think about it.
But it must get to you sometimes.
Knowing what you've been through?
And the company's getting fat off your labor.
Yeah, the thing to say about it is, no comment.
Don't you just want to punch somebody?
Oh, no, that won't do no good. I'd rather think about how it's gonna be when justice prevails. Then I can do something nice for the folks. Maybe send them on a trip. They never did have no honeymoon.
What a fine example of womanhood. We can only aspire to bear our cross in life as nobly as this young girl.
Mr. Barry, I must object to these kinds of histrionics.
I had nothing to do with that, Mr. Markley.
I've been in this game a long time, Mr. Barry. When I see a story like this move over the wires, I am not so naive to believe a plaintiff's attorney has nothing to do with it.
And what's your proposal, Mr. Markley?
$1,500 for each girl.
$1,500?
That's not even a year's wages.
We think it's very generous, considering your case won't survive the statute of limitations.
This is a case in equity, sir. The Chancery Court will come to a different conclusion.
The Chancery Court can't change the law, and the law is clear. 2 years from the date of injury. Your client's out of time.
2 years from the date the cause of injury is discovered.
Very creative, Mr. Barry. Very clever. I do have to admire your imagination. You have a long way to go before you convince the judge.
And in the meantime, Mr. Markley, the press will continue to take a great interest in this story and in the company's complete indifference to its workers.
No doubt that will prove to be good press to the Consumer League. And you accuse us of exploiting these girls.
You're the one hiding behind the statute of limitations.
Hiding? Miss Wiley?
You know very well the law never anticipated a situation like this. These girls were dying years before anyone knew the cause.
Before anyone knew? Does that include the U.S. Radium Corporation, Miss Wiley? When, or should I say if, this case goes to trial, I only hope that your opening argument, Mr. Barry, will have made our defense see what they hear.
Oh, the arrogance of that man!
Tell me again the purpose of these articles, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. That is the engine of reform.
You are antagonizing the incumbent.
Then the strategy is working.
And what about the girls? How does it help them to read if it doesn't get newspapers? They have so little time to live.
Mr. Barry, surely you can see the U.S. Radium Corporation cares nothing for the girls it has poisoned. But the average housewife in Orange cares very deeply. And so do millions of other women across the country. These women shop. They buy watches. Markley can be as smug as he likes, but the Consumers League campaign will lead to only one outcome. And he knows it. That's why he's here today.
I only hope you're right, Miss Wiley.
Public sympathy, Mr. Barry. Wait and see.
Dear Miss Schwab, I heard of your sad story in the Boston Globe and am so sorry for your plight. It seems in the age of rapid advancement, the well-being of the average worker is often overlooked. I'd like to share with you girls the key to my long-lasting health at the age of 92. It's called Christian Science.
Dear Miss Fryer, I read of your woeful situation in the alleged Constitution, and I'm prepared to offer you a solution. Venison, a wonder toxin made from all natural ingredients. Venison will cure health and morality. We're prepared to offer you girls a lifetime supply of venison in exchange for the exclusive right to use your photos in our advertisements.
Dear girl, I read about you in the Bill's Gazette. I run 100 head of cattle here and do very well by myself. I've always longed for a companion and well equipped to give you a comfortable home in your final hours. A girl like you has suffered so much. Don't you think you deserve a few fleeting hours of happiness? Sincerely, your admirer, Leonard F. Watkins. P.S. Enclosed is my picture.
Look at this, Catherine. This man actually sent a picture. Catherine? Leave it again. Should I get the nurse? They did this before. It'll stop. Maybe we should go. No, don't go. Don't you need to sleep? Who can sleep? I never sleep. Well, you'll sleep tomorrow. Yeah. Might not wake up. Of course you'll wake up. Not if it don't go well. Sometimes you don't come out of it so good. Mother's cousin, she went into the hospital for her appendix, and she never came home again. Well, you just can't think that way. That's all. Look at all this mail, Catherine. Miss Wiley said folks would be on our side, and she sure was right. Look, here's one from California. What if we don't win? Of course we'll win. But what if we don't? My father will lose his house. We'll be on the street. You'll be on the street too. Your father must owe thousands. And you and Tom, you won't ever get married. How can you stand it, Grace? Catherine, please. How can Tom stand it? Don't you ever wonder, Grace? I don't ever hear him complain. Catherine, as soon as the judge hears her testimony, he's going to rule for us. It'll be over in a day. Think so?
Sure. Once they see what kind of shape we're in, we'd be all for good more, don't you think?
Something in a moment. See the look on Mr. Reader's face when we get up on the stand.
Now, you want to read some more letters?
They didn't have no vanilla, so I got some chocolate instead.
Took you long enough.
Don't get on me. I got stopped by 6 people on the way over here. All them reporters. All of them asking after you.
Yeah, waiting for me to die.
No one is waiting for you to die.
It's true. One of them called my mother asking if I had died. When she said no, he sounded disappointed.
Try to eat a little of this.
I'll feel better. How about a picture?
For the love of Mike, what are you doing?
Some pictures for the graphics exclusive on the girls.
Exclusive? What are you talking about?
$5,000. That's what. What do you say, Grace? That sound good to you? Think you could use $5,000?
I don't understand.
Perhaps you're familiar with Bernard McFadden.
Who, that baby healer?
Herbalist, Mr. Prater, herbalist. Bernard McFadden's patented herbal therapy is just what these girls need to get back on their feet, and the graphic will pay for it. All we ask is for the exclusive rights to their story. And I know, see for yourself.
You want to pay us to go see Bernard McFadden?
Easy money, huh?
Let me see.
You're serious, Grace.
The graphic always does business on the up and up.
I don't know.
Grace. What is your father still on the house?
I don't know exactly.
That last hospital bill? It was a couple hundred at least.
At least.
Maybe we should think about that.
And all we do is talk. To this herbalist fella? Of course.
We'll have to get our money's worth. Are we going to series of features? With pictures, following the course of the treatment, illness, recovery, or otherwise, depending on how it goes. Maybe we add some color. Everybody adds color.
Not so bad.
Maybe we should talk to Miss Wiley about it.
Miss Wiley? What's it to her? You're the one with bills to pay.
Wouldn't be right to do something without talking to Miss Wiley.
You're a big girl, Grace. Can't you make your own decisions?
Of course I can make my own decisions.
Take it if it came from the company.
The company owes us a lot more than that.
If you ever see it.
Grace,
Maybe we should do it.
it just don't seem right.
You're gonna talk to the reporters anyhow. Might as well get something out of it.
He's right, you know. Why give your story away when people are crazy to read about it? Believe me, you girls could cash in big. The day we ran a feature on you, bang! Sold out of every copy at every newsstand. Everybody can sympathize with the fight. Poor sick girl, facing certain death, with no hope of fulfillment in motherhood.
I'd like you to go now. My friend is tired. She needs to rest.
Grace, at least think about it.
Sure, think it over. I understand you're worried about what people will say. But hey, you gotta look out for your own interests here. There's no reason you shouldn't get something out of all this. Look out for number one. That's the way. Everyone else is out to get what they can. For sure. Why should you sit back and keep your nose clean when everyone else is up to their elbows in it?
Gentlemen, I have treated a number of the girls who claim they got sick working here at your factory. One of them's jawbone had rotted so bad, I removed it simply by lifting it out of her mouth, as you can see here.
That's all right, Dr. Matthew. Put that away.
Perhaps you'd rather see it on the x-ray. This was an expensive case to treat, and I never did get no compensation. The girl died. Her family never paid.
I sympathize, Dr. Matthew, but what does that to do with us?
Here's it straight. There are going to be a lot more girls coming to me claiming they got sick working at your factory. So maybe we can do business. I scratch your back, you scratch mine sort of deal.
I'm not following you.
Suppose you was to give me a list of the girls that worked here. I'd see to it there weren't no more lawsuits.
You think you could do that?
No, I couldn't put out a care. It's more of a I scratch your back, you scratch mine sort of deal.
How so, Dr. Nev?
Well, I'd examine them for radium necrosis, then come with a favorable diagnosis for you. Pyorrhea, say, or something else. If you'll just die a natural death anyway, and the rest, we can wait till the statute of limitations kicks in. Then it's too late to sue.
You'll persuade them they haven't got a case against the company.
Exactly. And if it did come to court, it would be a strong testimony coming from the dentist that treated it.
What makes you so sure these girls will come to you?
They'll come to me if I don't charge them anything.
Because we'd be paying you.
Exactly, Mr. Reader. We understand each other.
Exactly what are you asking for, Dr. Nuff?
Well, let's see. Expenses report here. I need $10,000 for my trouble so far, and for every girl I agree to see from here on out, $2 for every visit, plus expenses for the x-rays. I'm suggesting a gentleman's agreement here. Better off if it's not in writing.
No.
Fine then, we'll put it in writing.
We'll do nothing of the sort. Your proposal is immoral. It will have nothing to do with it.
You're a fine one to be talking about morals, Mr. Reader.
Mr. Lee?
When you got your own hired guns ready to testify.
Those are expert witnesses.
Expert witnesses? Paid lackeys is more like it. And none of them's got the dirt I got. If you're smart, you'll play ball with me. Believe me, there are plenty of other folks interested in the information.
You're threatening me.
No, Mr. Reader. I'm simply looking out for my interests, same way you look after yours.
Mr. Lee, see Dr. Neff to the door.
Fine. You don't want to play ball, but believe me, when this all shakes out, it won't be me holding the short end of the stick.
Gentlemen, I want you all to make statements on what happened here this morning. We'll send it to the State Dental Society. Then Dr. Neff will see who's playing ball and who isn't.
An excellent idea.
I don't know. Perhaps we shouldn't be so quick to dismiss Neff's proposal.
What do you mean?
Well, we're in a very bad situation here, Mr. Reader.
That is true. Mr. Lee says we're having trouble even getting girls to work here.
Yes. And he lost some contracts because of it.
And it's just gonna get worse.
The papers are full of stories about those girls.
Makes them out to be saints.
And what defense can we put out?
Only to say we'll try our case in court.
And in the court of public opinion, we've already lost.
Perhaps we should reconsider. It certainly wouldn't hurt to have testimony from the dentist who treated those girls.
We should retain them. It could be very helpful to us.
Retain him as what? An extortionist?
As an expert.
Like Dr. Flynn.
Dr. Flynn is a highly respected professor at Columbia University. Dr. Neff is a neighborhood dentist.
But Dr. Flynn treated some of those girls, didn't he?
He didn't treat them. He consulted with them. He dispensed medical advice, Arthur. He didn't give them medical advice. He gave them a scientific opinion.
How about this? We retain that, but we don't put him on the stand just so we keep him from testifying for the women.
That's what's important.
Yes, I agree. That is the most important thing.
Would you agree to something like that, Mr. Reader?
Mr. Reader?
Mr. Reader.
Evelyn, we can't possibly be doing this. We can't get into bed with a man like Neff.
Arthur's right. We don't want to do business with Neff.
He could hurt us. We have to take steps.
Neff has already given us everything we need. New evidence, gentlemen. This is grounds for postponement.
3 months. 3 months to study an X-ray. It's outrageous. And the girls, did you see the girls? Their eyes were like saucers looking at me. Terrified.
Mr. Berry.
How are we gonna hold out 3 more months? Captain Strawberry really made it into the court today. And Grace, she was trying so hard not to cry. Of course, I had all the answers. Go home, girls, get some rest. That's the best I can do. Get some rest.
You are doing wonderfully, Mr. Berry. It's a difficult case.
I don't understand people like Mark Lee. And Reader, how can he play those games with those girls sitting right there?
Maybe this one is this way. I received a letter.
You think the company would be eager to take care of this, what? With all the publicity it's gotten? But Mark Lee seems to enjoy the sport of it. What he get away with, it's cold. Very cold.
Mr. Berry.
What's this?
It's from Catherine Drinker, Mrs. Cecil Drinker of Harvard. She's an industrial hygienist also. She worked with Dr. Drinker on his study of the radium plant. It was a joint after actually.
That's great, Miss Wiley, but we've already seen this document. There's nothing in it to help us.
You've only seen a part of it. Mr. Berry, please. This is the complete report. I received it this morning. Mrs. Drinker has been following our story very closely in the paper, and she was particularly disturbed to read the last article in the Ledger, the one where Mr. B says her study clears the company.
He doctored the report. Reader doctored the report.
Apparently, he pulled one page listing the blood conditions of a dozen employees and passed it off as the whole thing. Doesn't look so bad by itself, does it? But in context, it's a somewhat different picture.
We can use this.
Yes, this should impress the judge.
The judge? Miss Wiley, I will not wait 3 months to make use of this. Call your contact you at the New York World. If we don't let us submit our evidence in court, you can read about it in the newspaper.
January 12, 1928. Jackie Yeoman here for the New York Ledger.
Nancy Jane Harlan for the Graphic.
Radium girls go to court today.
Radium girls knock at the doors of justice.
Will they be heard? These poor, injured girls face pain, disfigurement, ruin, and death. As the clock ticks away at their precious moments, a hearing begins in the Chancery Court, where the U.S. Radium Corporation demands a postponement, while plaintiff's attorney, Raymond Berry, makes a shocking disclosure, showing that the company lied to the Department of Labor, showing that it distorted the results of a Harvard study, concealing the ill effects of its product. Read all about it in the Ledger. Read it in the Graphic. We care because you care.
Very bad.
You didn't read it?
Make point not to these days.
Only other people would do the same. Mrs. Mitchell from across the street, she walked right past me this morning and didn't say a word to me. And the women at the market and the Greek grocer, the way they glance at each other. Mrs. Middleton and the other ladies at the club, the whispers.
Why didn't you read the journal? I saw that around here the other day. Why didn't you read that?
At the club today, somebody actually had the nerve to say to me, is it true, she said, that your husband poisoned those women? I said, Mrs. Cowles, if you think that it is true, then why would you speak to me at all? I certainly would not associate with the women whose husband did such things.
Why do you go there then, if that's the way people are?
I've been a member for years.
What do you want me to say, Diane? I knew we were poisoning people, but I didn't want to stop because we were making too much money. Is that what you want me to say?
I certainly don't want you to say such a thing.
You think you're true? Or especially if it were true?
Is it true?
Is that what you think?
What would you like me to think?
For God's sakes, Diane! Don't you see what's going on? It's Von Shishaki. He's behind all this. He's feeding information to Consumers League so they can railroad us.
Why would the Consumers League?
Bunch of radical women, do-gooders. Half of them are Reds probably, socialists. That's what they are. Same thing that group you belong to.
What?
You women, you can go around and solve your own problems while your husbands go out and make a living. You're going to quit that club.
Quit the club?
And stop talking that idiot.
You're not making any sense.
She doesn't know anything. None of you women know anything. You don't know anything.
Did you lie to the Department of Labor?
What?
Did you lie?
I didn't lie.
Artie.
I just didn't agree with Drinker's results. I have a fiduciary duty to this company.
I can't listen to this.
Diane, I have articles, I have documents, people with tumors the size of baseballs. Radiotherapy, the tumors disappear. Diane.
I'm tired. I'm going upstairs.
We save lives. We make lives better. Mild radiotherapy invigorates. You can't really think I set out to poison people. You can't really think I'm a liar. Can you? Diane?
No.
You can't really think I would do anything to hurt you. Or hurt Harriet.
Certainly not.
Then
13 girls have died!
people die every day. The newspapers are full of death notices. People young, old, infants, children, younger than Harry, die every day.
But they worked for you!
They also worked other places. Diane, I have a report from Columbia University, an expert in industrial hygiene, just like Drinker, who says there's no connection between our facilities and these illnesses. Would you like to see the report?
Then what could the cause be?
I don't know. Really, I don't know. I've done everything I could to find out. Nobody knows. Please. Can you believe me? If you don't believe me, then don't point to anything.
Artie.
You remember the day I told my father I wasn't going in the ministry? What you said to me that day?
You can do as much good in the boardroom as you can in the church.
You remember?
You think I forget?
I was such a scared kid. He was an icon. If it weren't for you, I don't think I could have stood up to him.
I'm sure you would, Artie. I know you would.
And ever since then, he's been looking for signs that my soul was lost. You don't think that, do you? That my soul was lost?
You're a good man, Artie.
Saved lives.
You saved lives.
It's all for you. You know that, right? Everything they do, it always has been. Please, don't let that be a reporter. Don't answer that. Arthur, open the door.
Is that Mr. Lee?
Charlie, for God's sake.
I just got off the phone with someone from the ledger.
This couldn't wait till Monday. I'm sorry. Good evening.
Mr. Lee?
It's Dr. Lehman from the lab.
Dan?
He's dead, Arthur. What? He died this morning. But Charlie, that's impossible. I just saw him last week.
They were all here a month ago for cards. He was just here.
Martlin's already done the autopsy. He says it's a severe anemia.
He's blaming the radium.
The ledger's gonna run it on page 1. I told the reporter we'd issue a statement by 8 o'clock. That's when they need it so we can run tomorrow.
When are the services?
I'm sorry?
The services.
I don't know.
We'll send flowers, Diane.
Of course, I'll go with this.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, I should go and see her. Oh, Arthur, we should go and see her right now.
Yeah,
Why ever not?
she's planning to sue.
Louise?
The reporter from the ledger told me. She's suing for wrongful death action. I started working up a statement. Company chemist for 8 years, always in poor health, recent in
But
decline.
Dan was never sickly. He was always out on the golf course, or sailing, or tending to his garden. Oh, Arthur, he kept a beautiful garden.
Charlie, we'll deal with this in the morning.
I'm sorry to bring you the bad news, Miss Rita. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Lee.
Charlie can be a bit excessive at times. We have to say something. I don't know what we'll say, but we have to say something. The shareholders will accept it.
It's all right. You needed to explain.
Sometimes it's
It's
necessary.
all right. You needed to explain. We're going to get rid of this now.
There's half the case on this.
And we'll get rid of that too.
I'll do it. Diane, I'm in too far.
I really didn't expect you to.
February 21st, 1928. To Mr. Raymond Berry, from Harrison Martland, Medical Examiner, Essex County. We've examined the remains of the deceased Amalia Madra. Our studies reveal the following. Radioactive substances have been found in large quantities in the lower jaw, upper jaw, and lumbar vertebrae. No evidence of syphilis was found.
Body is radioactive. Hold up, dead girl. Kick off gamma rays. Captain Wiley of the New Jersey Consumers League declares new evidence shows company is blind.
Dr. Joseph Neff, a Newark dentist who treated Amalia, has turned over portions of jawbone that he removed from her mouth. The X-ray film shows the jawbone is still radioactive 5 years after the girl died.
Will this make your case?
Will this force a settlement? Make our case? No. This man will make our case.
Last night, in a graphic exclusive, the founder of Radium Corporation breaks his long silence with this shocking announcement.
Radium is one of the most dangerous substances known to man.
Doctor, is it true that you assisted with the autopsy?
Job, given my expertise in radium extraction, was able to determine that Vespadia took enough radium to kill 10 people.
Doctor, what does this say for mild radium therapy? Are you now advising against it?
Radium is responsible for the deaths of these poor girls, should be considered the most dangerous substance.
Do you agree with the doctor's prognosis that the radium girls have only a year to live?
From what I've seen, so be lucky to last that long.
I'll tell you what we should have done. Should have taken that reporter up on her offer when we had the chance. That's what we should have done.
$5,000? Don't make me laugh.
Should have talked her up too, because I'll tell you what, we had paid. I'll tell you what else we should have done.
Stop telling me what we should have done. Lots of things we should have done. It don't do no good to think about that.
Alright, keep your shirt on.
Which do you like? The green or the brown?
So what's Barry say? Is he gonna go back to the company?
I like the green, but it don't fit so good nowadays.
Is he gonna at least try and talk the company up a bit?
Miss Wiley thinks one more interview would do the job. So I say, let's one more, you know?
It's worth a shot, don't you think? What if they raise it up to 5,000? Would you take it then?
Let them come up. I'm not caving in.
It's called a settlement.
A settlement? It's just a way for them to hide.
Let them hide.
Then they win.
So they win. They're gonna win anyway.
Nice. You got so much confidence in me.
Grace, for Christ's sake. You got one lawyer working for nothing up against 6 other lawyers who are all getting a bundle. You think you have a chance?
You know what I found out today? That they put up lead screens in the laboratory for the technicians. Did they give us lead screens?
Oh, Jesus.
What, 100 girls in a room and you think they're going to spend that kind of money on us?
Grace.
And they want to keep it all quiet. And Miss Wiley says they're going to close down over here and move across the river to New York to open up another factory like nothing ever happened.
What are you doing here, Grace? I thought the idea was we'd get some money to settle your debts. Get a better doctor and we'd get on with things.
Get on with things?
You're still wearing my ring.
Oh. Tell me.
Grace, there's a house for sale in my brother's neighborhood. 2 rooms down, 2 rooms up. It's not much, but it's a start. I don't like it. It's already got flowered wallpaper. Best of all, it's only 3 blocks from the school.
Oh, what do we need for the school?
Plan ahead for once.
Tommy, when all this is over, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think everything would just go back to the way it was?
Why wouldn't it?
I got to see the surgeon again.
Uh-huh.
I got some fluid. He's going to drain it.
Okay.
And then he says there will be more.
So we deal with it when it comes.
And still more, and more, and still more. Why can't you see that? How can you talk about getting married and buying houses when you know there's nothing?
Grace, I can't think about that. I just want for us to be together now. I want to come home at night. My wife, my home. I'm too old to be living this in-between life. I promise, Grace, do whatever it takes to make it easy for you.
Here.
Come on.
I should have given back to you a long time ago.
I don't want it.
Tommy, please. Are you going to make me say it?
You're just tired, that's all. You just need to get some rest. I'll be back to see you tomorrow.
Tommy.
You get some rest.
Tommy! Tommy! Don't you do this to me! Tommy!
Arthur? Ah, Charles.
Aren't you headed home?
Charlie, I've been thinking. I think we're taking the wrong approach here. You've got to settle this case. Make a reasonable offer to those girls.
No, Arthur, we agreed. We need a definite victory or else we invite more of the same nonsense.
Things have changed.
Arthur, I know you and Dan were close, but you can't let that cloud your judgment.
Barnes Shockey is going to testify.
We can deal with him.
How?
Put more money in his pocket.
Now you want a bribe.
Not a bribe, consideration.
Consideration.
For an expert witness. Whatever Barry's paying him, we'll just make a better offer.
You don't understand guilt, do you, Charlie?
Right now, I don't have the luxury of thinking about it.
Well, let me tell you something, Charlie. A guilty man has a tremendous need to unburden himself. His guilt can eat him alive. Don't you see? What Von Shockey wants is to be free. That's why he's testifying for girls. That is why he will never testify for us, no matter how much consideration you offer.
Settle with these girls, and you settle with all the rest. Neff was right about that. This is just the beginning.
Tell Markley to get in touch with Barry. Come with the figure these girls can set.
Arthur, what are you trying to do to me? You're trying to cut me out.
We've got to
no, every penny. Every penny for the last 7 years I sunk into this company. Why? Because of you. Because you said it was a sure thing. No, miss. Why work for Von Shockey when we can work for ourselves? Remember that one? Take a chance, Charlie. Take a chance.
Charlie, we were fooled. Von Shockey fooled us all. Now, all there is to do is clean it up as best we can.
Do this and it's the end of it.
You're stepping down, Charlie?
Not me.
Well,
don't you know? They are one vote away from getting rid of you.
And whose vote is that, Charlie?
Oh, you still a little faith in me.
I'm still a stockholder, Charlie. You don't have enough votes to get me off the board. I'll still be on the board.
Still on the hook if the company goes under. Think about that the next time your conscience starts to bother you.
March 15th, 1920. To Raymond Barry, attorney at law. From Edward Hartford, counsel, U.S. Radio. One of our expert witnesses has encountered a serious scheduling conflict that will make it impossible for him to testify in April. Therefore, we are requesting an extension until June. As for your request for a settlement, every case involves some humanitarian aspect. Therefore, I am afraid that cannot be the basis for settling this one. But I have no doubt you will be rewarded for the good work you are doing. If not in this world, then the next.
Tommy, please.
Rise and shine!
Madam Curie?
Time for work!
Oh, am I late? I set the alarm.
You have 5,000 to make me for breakfast! It's always a more effort.
Please, I'm so very tired.
No complaining. Good soldiers don't complain.
But I'm dying.
And you will. Get up, Grace.
Irene, get up, sleepyhead. You don't make quota like that. But it's not fair. I'm 26. I should be married. I should have children. My own home.
We all have to make sacrifices sometimes. I know I did.
But why? Why do we have to make sacrifices? It's all for science, Grace.
Science? Family! Every life is sacrificed to something. Just a matter of choosing which.
But I didn't choose. I didn't have no choice. Sure you did, Grace. Sure you did. Catherine, don't do that! Catherine?
Grace, now look what you did. He's bleeding all over the dials.
I'm sorry, Catherine. I guess I shouldn't have said anything.
No problem. What's one more dead dial?
Catherine? Catherine?
Grace!
Mama?
Grace, Mr. Barkley will be here any minute.
Mr. Barkley?
He's bringing the papers for you to sign. Did you fall asleep?
Has Miss Wiley been by?
Miss Wiley?
About Catherine. She said she might stop by. Did she come by?
She might have.
Don't you know?
Someone came to the door a while ago. I think your brother answered it. Look, Grace, you've got to get ready.
They took Catherine back to the hospital last night.
I know, dear, I know. After you talk to Mr. Markley, we'll go over there and see how she is. Now, put a comb through that hair.
I dreamt she died.
Grace, don't speak such things.
If she dies, it's over.
We are 3 months behind on the mortgage, Grace.
I know that.
You can't let this go on.
$1,500. Not even a year's wages.
Well, it's better than nothing, ain't it?
Is settlement worth? Better than nothing?
Of course not, sweetheart. But you've got to be realistic. At the rate things are going, you'll never get inside that courtroom. And even if you do, you can't prove nothing.
Mr. Barry thinks we can.
Mr. Barry ain't paying the bills. There's the doctor and the bank and the co-man. We can't expect folks to treat us like charity just because you're sick.
Not asking for charity, Mom. I just want what's owed to me.
Grace, I know it feels like you're letting Catherine down, but if she decided to take the company's offer, would you hold it against her? No, you wouldn't. Now, we'll take that check and pay the bills and whatever is left to you and Tom now. A little something to get you started.
There's nothing to start, Mom.
Why do you have to be so hard on Tommy? And can't you see he just can't face the thought of you not being with us?
I have to face it. Why can't he?
Do something with your hair, Grace.
$250,000. What would you do with $250,000, Miss Fryer? I can't imagine. No point to it. Mom, you didn't tell me I had mail. New Mexico. Huh. You just keep writing. She was here. Miss Wiley was here. Mom, Miss Wiley was here this morning. She left me a note.
Miss Fryer, Edward Markley.
Ma said you brought papers?
Yes, the terms spelled out as explained in our letter. $1,500 deal. All we need is your signature. The check's ready. Triple.
Grace, Mr. Markley is a very busy man.
Oh, no, please, take your time. Read it over carefully. If you prefer, I can leave it and come back tomorrow.
No. We'll do this now.
What's hold harmless?
You agree to hold the company harmless from any further action.
No more lawsuits.
Correct.
Is that just me or anybody in my family?
Your entire family. It precludes wrongful death action also.
This is a confidential settlement.
Yes.
You didn't say nothing about it being confidential.
It's standard for most legal settlements, Miss Fryer. We like to protect our privacy, and your privacy also. Cuts both ways. You agree to keep silent about the terms of the settlement, so do we.
That seems fair.
Need a pen?
I have another question.
Grace, Mr. Markley already explained the settlement to you.
I don't know.
What's contributory negligence, Mr. Markley? It's not in that one. It was in the mother papers that you filed when we did the lawsuit. The rating company said its defense was the statute of limitations and contributory negligence.
I'm not sure what you're asking, Miss Fryer.
It means it's our fault, don't it?
It's a standard defense. I wouldn't take it personally.
How else can I take it?
Mr. Markley, Grace has had an awful headache all day. Maybe you could leave the paper.
Maybe he could just answer the question.
Why are you doing this?
Why didn't you tell me Miss Wiley was here?
You already made up your mind. She'd only try to keep out of it.
What did she say about Catherine?
Mr. Markley, if you can leave the papers, Grace will sign them later.
What did she say about Catherine?
She said it don't look good.
Perhaps I should leave and come back when Miss Fryer is feeling better.
You didn't answer my question, Mr. Markley. And I'd really like an answer. Because let me tell you, I quit school at 15. I went to work at the Radium plant because my folks needed the money. At your plant, they told us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. My folks didn't raise me to make trouble, so I didn't make trouble. I I did what I was told. I never asked questions. How do you get contributory negligence out of that?
As I said, it's a standard defense.
There's nothing standard about what happened to me.
We deeply regret your situation, Miss Fryer, but there is no evidence to tie your condition to any action by the U.S. Radium Corporation.
And why are you giving me this money?
It's a humanitarian gesture.
Humanitarian?
Mr. Martin, I'll take them papers.
Humanitarian? Month after month, you put us off. Delay after delay. Knowing how sick we were? How tired? Humanitarian? You're waiting for us to die.
Grace, please, stop this now.
Mom, one by one, I watched my friends get sick and die in the most horrible way possible. And you think I should be grateful for any spare change they're willing to throw at me?
This is a very generous offer, Miss Fryer. Under the circumstances, I would advise you take it, because it won't be on the table very long.
What do you mean?
If Miss Fryer doesn't sign within 24 hours, we'll be forced to withdraw our offer permanently.
Grace, he's lying.
I beg your pardon, miss.
You're trying to tell me if I don't sign these papers now, but I came back to you a week from now saying I changed my mind, you'd still rather go to court? You'd still rather some judge get a good look at me and take your chances I won't win on sympathy alone? 24 hours? You're just trying to bully me.
Very well then, Miss Fryer. I'll take that for a no. We'll see you in court.
Yes, you will. You will see me in court. If they have to carry me in there, you'll see me. You and Mr. Reed are both.
You call that man back.
I'm going to court, Mom.
What are you trying to prove? You know you can't win.
I want those people to look at me. I want them to look at me and explain how it's my fault I got sick working in their factory.
And what'll that get you? What?
Mom, all my life, I've done what other people have told me to do. I quit school because you said I should. I put that brush in my mouth because Mrs. McNeil said I should. I never said, please, can I finish school? I never said, I don't like the taste of this paint. Even though I knew, Mom. I knew something wasn't right. At night, I'd lay in bed and I'd see my dress hanging on the back of the closet door. All below, my shoes on the floor, hairbrush comb on the dresser, so much light. And I never once questioned. I never once asked. Don't you see? That's what they were counting on.
Arthur, so it is you making all this noise.
I left messages with your housekeeper. I know you got the messages.
As we are no longer in business together, I thought it best not to respond.
Is that what this is about?
Perhaps a cup of tea will calm the nerves.
You never told us the paint was dangerous. You never said a word about it. Not to me, not to Dan.
No.
You didn't know. You invented the paint. And you didn't know. How can you lie like that?
I didn't know until it was too late, Arthur.
I should put you through that wall.
Perhaps you should. But you will not. You will sit down. You will calm yourself and you will have some tea.
I was not the technical man. You were the technical man.
Yeah, I was the technical man. Sit down, Arthur.
I sold watches, for Christ's sake. I was a salesman.
A good one at that. Very good head for the business you have. Not such a good head for the science. For the business, very smart. Always you could find ways to cut the cost without losing the quality. That's a gift, Arthur. So why don't you have some tea?
Jesus Christ! What's the matter with your hands?
It's been that way for some time.
What? Have you been dipping them in ink?
Dipping them in ink? How fond of the pretty story you are. Pouring it for ink? No. Dr. Martin tells me it's in the process of the tissue. The cells. They're dying. With the diabetes in the jaw started. The necrosis. with me in the hands.
I had no idea.
No reason why you should. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
How long?
I've known for a while. Miss Wiley from the Consumers League persuaded me to help Dr. Martin testing the dilator to radium exposure. There aren't that many people around, you know, can measure that kind of thing. So she came to me, knowing I had the equipment and, of course, the skill. I didn't want to believe her either other. I didn't want to believe the girls could get sick from working with my paint. I wanted to show her it was a mistake. So I agreed to help. Dr. Martin and I conducted expired air tests on the dilators. It was then that I found out that my own blood registered radioactive was in my hands. They began to turn black. Now, you wish to have words with me?
I'm sorry.
Perhaps you should make an appointment yourself with Dr. Martin.
Me? What for?
Arthur, you did not notice the glowing dust on your shoes when you went home at night?
How could I miss it? I tracked it all over the house.
To be sure, sir, a good deal of it is down your nose. Look familiar?
It's our promotional piece.
An excellent promotion. How many new sales does that book account for?
I didn't track it exactly. I like to think it helped with our medical market quite a bit.
It's 96.
What?
Open it. The last chapter. Read it to me.
The last chapter? Radium. Dangerous effects.
How many articles do you have listed, sir? 10? 15?
About 18, it looks like.
How far back do those articles go?
I don't know.
Arthur, look at it. It's the first one, sir. What is the date?
1906.
1906. Now let me see. When you go into court, you plan to testify that you had no idea radium was dangerous. How do you plan to do that, Arthur, when your own book says that it was? How can you claim that you did not know?
I never really read it.
What's that?
I never really read it. I hired a man and put it together. I only glanced at the galleys. I never really read the book.
How do you mean you never read the book?
It was a standard arrangement. An outside company prepared the piece. They were responsible for its content.
Which you never read.
I think you'll find, Mr. Berry, that very few company presidents read their own promotional pieces word for word.
It had your name on it. You authorized the book's release and you had final approval of its content.
Mr. Lee was responsible for our promotional efforts at the time. I entrusted those activities to him.
Now, Mr. Reader, you testified that you started the U.S. Radium Corporation in 1918?
Yes, as plant manager.
And you held that position for how long?
4 years.
4 years. So during those 4 years, how often did you venture in the studio?
Every day.
Every day? So you must have observed the girls putting brushes to their lips.
I don't recall.
So, you're saying you went to the studio every day and you never saw a single girl put a brush to her mouth?
I said I don't recall it.
You don't recall it? What do you recall, Mr. Reader? You're an awfully young man to have such a faulty memory.
Objection!
I withdraw. No more questions.
Your witness, Mr. Markley?
We have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, gentlemen, please approach. I'm ready to issue my ruling.
Your Honor, we have yet to make our defense.
I realize that, Mr. Markley, but this proceeding is to determine standing. And I've heard enough evidence in these 2 days to make that determination. The radium in the bones of these girls is an ongoing source of poison in their systems. Nothing your witnesses can say will change that fact, will it?
our witnesses are prepared to testify that the company could not have known about the dangers.
Mr. Markley, in the interest of justice, I am asking for the defense rest without calling any witnesses. That way, we can conclude this hearing today and schedule the case for trial.
All right, Your Honor.
Fine. I therefore rule that the statute of limitations has not been exhausted and these girls have standing to sue.
Your Honor, one thing. I have a very packed schedule of 2 other cases pending, and a key witness will not be available until the end of summer. He can't be available until September.
Your Honor!
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but our chief expert witness is involved in an institution of higher learning. This is the busiest time of the year for him. We cannot expect him to appear.
Mr. Markley is responsible for that situation. He is the one who demanded continuous delays.
Your Honor, we've just waived our right to present witnesses at this hearing. Surely you will not force us to make our defense without the presence of our key expert witness.
All right, Mr. Markley. Trial is set for September. This hearing is adjourned.
Edward, why can't Flynn appear?
He's going to Europe.
Europe? Like, he's known about this for months. Why would... Oh, very clever, Edward. How long do you plan to keep this up?
As long as necessary.
Mr. Markley.
Mr. Barry, congratulations. Never believed the judge would go for it.
You know full well these girls don't have until September. One is so ill she can't appear in court.
My client has a right to make his defense.
We will not wait until September. I promise you that. One way or another, we're going to find room on the docket. But your expert witness? Be damned.
That girl is still staring at me.
I wouldn't worry about it.
She thinks that this is personal, that I planned this somehow. How do I make her understand I didn't want any of this?
You don't. Don't make her understand. You don't talk to her.
She looks like death, Edward.
They all look like that, Arthur.
Grace. That man, Miss Wiley. He won't look at me. He won't ever look at me. He just looks right past me like I'm not even there. It doesn't matter, Grace. He heard you. June 4th, 1928. Nancy Jane Harlan, The New York Graphic. Jackie Youngwood for The Ledger. Freeman Barry seeks trial date for early summer. As U.S. Radium Corporation announces a settlement. A settlement? $10,000 cash for each girl. And $12 a week for life. $12 a week? Read all about it in the Ledger. Your first source for news.
The company also agrees to pay the medical expenses for each girl for the remainder of their life. And the girls have agreed to a periodic examination done by a panel of physicians yet to be appointed. Questions?
What led to the settlement? Is it a division of responsibility? What about other pending cases?
It is purely for humanitarian reasons that the U.S. Radium Corporation agreed to the settlement. We admit no liability whatsoever.
Where does the company go from here?
The company is pleased to have brought this lengthy litigation to a close and looks forward to many more years of serving its consumers and community. And that's C.B. Lee, President.
Catherine Wiley of the New Jersey Consumers League, our press statement.
Were you pleased with the outcome, Ms. Wiley?
Finally, these poor girls received some compensation for their suffering. And, more importantly, the issue of radium poisoning has been brought to public awareness.
Thank you, Ms. Wiley.
The spelling, by the way, is Wiley with one I and Catherine with a K.
Well, Edward, looks like we're back in business.
What's your game plan?
Didn't I tell you? I got a buyer for the tailings that have been piling up on Allen Street.
Oh,
Some buyer in Montclair needs a little infill.
that's perfect.
Now, Catherine, this won't do. You can't see me paint. That's better. Well, Catherine, I brought my watercolors today. It's such a beautiful day to paint, too. It's warm, but the trees are starting to turn.
Too warm for a sweater. Not much of a breeze. A fine day to paint.
Thought I might find you up here.
You were right.
It's quiet up here.
Yep.
Well, I guess if you can rest in peace, it's the place to do it, huh?
I guess it is.
What do you call that?
Watercolors. I'm a little weak when it comes to landscapes, though.
No, it's good, Grace. It's nice.
First thing I bought with the settlement money was some paints. Got some oils, too.
Big spender.
And I bought a car.
I didn't know you could drive.
I can't. My brother's going to teach me. He brought me up here today.
Grace, if you want to learn how to drive, I'd teach you.
I mean, you've got other things to do now.
You know about that.
I mean, Orange just isn't that big.
I meant to tell you myself. That's why I came looking for you.
It's all right. I'm happy for you. For both of you.
No hard feelings, then?
Oh, Tom. You think I have time for that?
I'm glad it worked out for you, Grace. Are you glad? You don't feel like you backed down too soon, do you?
We didn't back down. They backed down. Papa?
It was right over here.
Oh, not this again.
This is where I saw her that last time.
This is morbid, Papa.
I stood there for a while. At first she didn't notice me, but then something made her look up.
Oh, my. No wonder Mom won't come for drives with you anymore. This is how you spend your Sundays.
I saw her looking at me, and I looked away.
It's just like at the courthouse that day. You can't bring yourself to look at me. You need a new hobby. Retirement isn't good for you.
My heart started pounding. I never knew what I would say to her if I had the chance. And suddenly there she was, and I had the chance.
So what did you say?
I couldn't bring myself to speak.
It's almost as if he's afraid to look at me.
I had my chance and I couldn't speak.
He's afraid of me. That was years ago. Can't you just forget about it? Besides, it's not like it was your fault. Science just wasn't as advanced as the way it is now.
Think back on those days, and I try to think, how could it have happened? I remember so clearly climbing those stairs to the studio at Alden Street. At the top of those stairs, the wide, high windows, the slant of light, the way it hit the floor creaking beneath my feet. The smell of the place, chocolate, like an old schoolroom. And all those girls, schoolgirls, really, all bent to the task in their plain blue smocks, their delicate little hands moving so quickly. No man could work the way those girls did, so quickly, so carefully. Those brushes flying from the dials to the paint, the dials to their lips. Try as I might, I cannot remember their faces. I never saw their faces.